690.
Live from Portland's Chinese Garden.
Tomorrow on AM Northwest.
August 15th, 2001.
Street protests in Korea.
How can we make good friends with people who ignore the many pains they have inflicted on us?
Outrage in China.
When you regard war criminals with such awe and respect, how can people believe the past will not be repeated?
In Hong Kong and Manila. And here in the U.S.
I can personally never forgive nor forget the things that happened in the Philippines, in the prison camps, and on the ships that took us to Japan.
All over one quiet moment. Tonight, remembrance, when history hurts.
From ABC News, this is Nightline. Reporting from Washington, Ted Koppel.
On the face of it, it does seem like something of a tempest in a teapot. World War II, after all, has been over for 56 years. As a matter of fact, the Japanese surrendered 56 years ago today. Japanese Prime Minister Koizumi had planned to memorialize that occasion by visiting a memorial, a Shinto shrine, today. The Yasukuni Shrine commemorates 2.5 million Japanese soldiers who died in war, 2.3 million of them during the Second World War. Prime Minister Koizumi has some tough political decisions to make over these next few months, and many of them are likely to rile Japanese conservatives. The visit to the Yasukuni Shrine was intended, among other things, as a gesture to the conservatives. It may be, however, that the Japanese Prime Minister has succeeded only in angering just about everyone. Ignoring today's anniversary, he slipped off unannounced at the beginning of the week on Monday. Official Shinto practice calls for visitors to the shrine to bow deeply twice, to twice clap their hands, and to then bow again. The dead, all 2.5 million of them, are revered as gods. The Prime Minister bowed only once. But if the traditionalists were dissatisfied, those who consider the shrine a memorial to Japanese militarism, among them Americans, Koreans, Chinese, and Filipinos, they were outraged. What could be so controversial about this quiet scene that it would move these young men to cut off the tips of their little fingers in protest? Well, these young men are Koreans. And for the first half of the 20th century, Japan annexed Korea and ruled it with an iron fist. And this shrine in Tokyo is a shrine to Japan's military past. Among those honored, 14 convicted war criminals from World War II, including the infamous General Tojo. And the fact that the Japanese Prime Minister would pay a visit here has caused outrage across Asia.
This is the Yasukuni Shrine. It's closely linked to the wars of aggression which Japan waged in recent history.
For the Chinese, who died by the millions following the Japanese invasion and occupation during the 1930s, a visit to the shrine is tantamount to a celebration of that aggression. Chinese television reported that the Japanese ambassador was summoned to hear the complaints of the Chinese Foreign Ministry.
Wang Yi said the visit undermines the political basis of relations between China and Japan and hurts the feelings of the Chinese people and others who suffered under Japanese aggression. The healthy development of our bilateral relations will also suffer.
These elderly Koreans, old enough to remember living under the Japanese, called for the boycott of Japanese goods and urged Prime Minister Koizumi to apologize for his visit to the shrine as they burnt him in effigy. And these student protesters clashed with police as they tried to make their way to the Japanese embassy in Seoul. The anger reached as far as Hong Kong and the Philippines, where these women claimed that they were sex slaves for the Japanese army during the Second World War.
5年ぶりの
This is the first visit to the Yasukuni Shrine by a prime minister in 5 years.
Hoping to slip under the radar, the prime minister caught the Japanese press off guard.
I have just received word that Mr. Koizumi has arrived at the shrine behind me, here to my left.
He was joined by a few supporters at home, and he had this to say in defense of his visit.
I simply paid my sincere condolences to the numerous war dead. I did not come to worship any particular individuals, such as Class A war criminals.
My guests tonight are Richard Gordon, an Army veteran who was captured by the Japanese in 1942 and forced on the infamous Bataan Death March. He joins us from Schenectady in New York. Bonnie Oh is a professor of Korean Studies at Georgetown University and the co-author of The Legacies of the Comfort Women of World War II. She joins us here in Washington. Iris Chang is the author of The Rape of Nanking, The Forgotten Holocaust of World War II. The book describes the slaughter, rape, and torture of more than 300,000 Chinese civilians by Japanese soldiers. She joins us from Mountain View, California. And finally, Toshiaki Miura, political correspondent for Asahi Shimbun, one of Japan's largest newspapers. He joins us here in our Washington studios. And let me begin by asking you, Mr. Miura, is anyone in Japan happy?
Well, it depends on the personal view. Koizumi, Mr. Prime Minister Koizumi visited the shrine because he believed it was a proper place to pay respect to the war dead. But I think it is not in Japan's interest, and many Japanese people share my view that it is not a realistic approach. It is just eroding Japan's position in the international society.
What about conservatives in Japan? Were they placated by this, mollified by this, happy?
Well, some nationalists believe they are now looking to nationalism as a tool of rejuvenating the Japanese society after a decade of economic depression. So I think there is some kind of nationalism is very fashionable in Japan, but it's a reflection of pent-up emotions of the society. So in that way, some people are attracted by Koizumi's instance that he would visit the shrine on the anniversary day, but because he brought the date 2 days earlier, that may be disappointing in the eyes.
Mr. Gordon, let me turn to you and ask you, because you are the only person who, I believe, on this broadcast tonight was personally victimized by the Japanese during the Second World War. Does there come a time when you say, look, most of the people who were a part of this are dead or so old that it doesn't make a difference, and we have to move on?
No, I don't quite buy that, Ted, for one reason. It's very easy to say, let us look to the future and not the past. But the past tells us a great deal. And what it tells us is that Japan has denied what has occurred in the Pacific area during World War II. The atrocities and the murders of American troops and Filipino troops in the Philippines is ample evidence of that. So we don't quite buy this of moving on. I hold no animosity towards the Japanese people. But I will say this, that I can personally never forgive nor forget the things that happened in the Philippines, in the prison camps, and on the ships that took us to Japan.
Ms. Chang, is it your impression that also echoes the feelings of many people in China, that perhaps what is needed is more of a public acknowledgement of the evils that were done during the Second World War, and then and only then will it be possible to move on?
Absolutely. Because in China, the Japanese Imperial Army killed about 13 to 35 million people. And that's not something that people are going to forget lightly. And that's why the visit was so infuriating. Imagine, Ted, if Germany had erected a shrine to Hitler and worshipped Hitler as a god, and the head of state just went over there to pay his respects. Just imagine what the reaction would be.
Let me very quickly get a comment from you, Ms. O, really along the same lines. What is it that you feel is so particularly offensive about what looks like a fairly innocuous visit by the Japanese Prime Minister.
Yes, Korean reaction is, you might say, very strong, very vehement, because Koreans were the most victimized and for the longest period of time. Take, for example, among the 200,000 women who were enslaved to serve Japanese soldiers in war fronts, 80% were Korean women, mostly from poor, impoverished rural areas. And these facts were hidden many decades until about the end of 80s and early 90s. Only until after Cold War was over, these things came to light.
Let me take a short break now. When we come back, I'd like to readdress with all of you the issue of what it is you would have had the Japanese Prime Minister do and what it is that you find so offensive, if indeed you do, about what he did. Back in a moment.
This is ABC News Nightline, brought to you by the Home Depot.
We chose white because it was
clean
and simple.
I just wanted a splash of color.
Kind of kooky, a little pizzazz.
Different strokes for different folks, all at one store.
Went to Home Depot. Now I'm painting.
I can help you do that. I can show you how.
Okay. Linen for my girls' room.
You can do it.
That's easy.
Yeah.
That's all bare right there.
I love Ralph Lauren. This looks good.
Thank you.
I'm so glad I went to Home Depot first.
The Home Depot.
When I used to take antacids, I always thought of that kid in school who ate weird things, like chalk. All those old antacids tasted so chalky. Well, things have changed. Now there's Surpass Antacid Chewing Gum from Wrigley Healthcare. It tastes great and keeps working long after you stop chewing. My heartburn's gone, and Surpass still tastes great. Oh, honey, don't eat that. New Surpass Antacid. Great big relief. Great little gum.
Primetime's got a new story you have to see to believe. Doctor said her sight was gone for good until the one moment she says a miracle happened. Primetime, Thursday.
The 2001 Honda Clearance. It only happens once a year, and it's gone before you know it. Imagine your good fortune. Hey, seize the moment.
For a limited time, get special APR financing as low as 3.9% for 36 months on all new Accords.
I believe in watching more sports.
I believe the world should unfold in front of my couch.
I believe every day should be Saturday morning.
A great deal on the cable TV you want? You better believe it. It's AT&T Digital Cable from AT&T Broadband.
I believe I should always find a program that matches my mood.
I believe in finding what I want to watch faster.
I believe that Family Night shouldn't cost an arm and a leg.
Call now and let this great deal on AT&T Digital Cable make a believer out of you.
Oh, I believe I will.
AT&T Broadband. Believe in it.
We're back once again with American veteran Richard Gordon, Korean Studies professor Bonnie Oh, Chinese-American author Iris Chang, and Japanese journalist Toshiaki Miura. Ms. Chang, let me begin, if I may, with you. You were raising a moment ago the analogy of how people would feel if, in point of fact, the Germans had erected a memorial to Adolf Hitler and deified him and the Nazis. That, however, is not, was not, never has been a part of the German culture. What we are looking at here is a shrine, a Shinto shrine in Tokyo, which predates the Second World War. This is not something that was created simply to memorialize the war dead of World War II. It's been memorializing the war dead for, I believe, 132 years.
But this is a problem, Ted, that has so alarmed some Japanese individuals that there were proposals to move the souls of the war criminals to another shrine. But you're right, it is tricky because the priests at Yasukuni claim that once a soul is enshrined there, it's stuck there for all eternity. But I think that if you understand what the victims in Asia and also victims of the Japanese across the United States have endured, you'd understand how visiting the shrine is really the most base insult that you could deliver to them.
Mr. Gordon, let me come back to you and ask you what it is about the Prime Minister's visit to the shrine that you find, if indeed you do, offensive.
The only thing offensive I find about the visit to the shrine is the worship of the war criminals that were tried and convicted. In the Philippines, the crimes and atrocities that were committed by the Japanese during the Battle for Bataan were numerous. Many war criminals walked away unscathed. To this day, they have yet to be brought to trial. So basically this visit is saying that what you did was perfectly okay, and we don't buy that.
But I mean, do you understand that, you know, together with the, and I understand your point, there are 14 war criminals there, there may be many others whose names we don't know and whose identities we don't know, but here is a Japanese Prime Minister who is trying to say, I simply want, on this occasion of Japan's surrender to the United States, I simply want to pay honor to the other 2.3 million men who died during that war. I mean, surely you can understand that.
And I not only understand that, Ted, I empathize with it because a soldier is a soldier regardless of the country that he fought for and died for. And to honor those men is perfectly proper. To honor those war criminals as part of it, to me, is improper.
But how do you separate the two? And I suppose on that question I have to go to Mr. Miura. Is it possible to say, wait a second, those 14 create a problem for the other 2.5 million?
It sounded like a realistic option, but in the eyes of right-wing nationalists, it's almost impossible, because they believe that the General Tojo and other war criminals did everything to protect the emperor from being indicted in the tribunal, in the Tokyo tribunal. So in their eyes, they are martyrs, so they should be honored at the shrine. That's the way they think, I think.
But should the nationalists be exercising that much influence, that much control, when in point of fact, the new Japan grew out of a totally different ethic?
Well, I think we have to look at another aspect of history. The occupational forces used the existing Japanese political system to implement political reforms. So some of the leaders responsible for the war were put back in power, like Prime Minister Kishi, who negotiated the security treaty with the United States, was a Class A war criminal suspect, and he was one of the Tojo cabinet members which declared war on the United States. But in the context of the Cold War, any Japanese who was anti-communist was a good Japanese in the American eye, and his past and all these issues were swept under the rug. I think in East Asia, the Cold War froze the question of history, and now for the last decade, it has come up as a big issue, and I think Japan is going through and has to go through the same process Germany went in the 1950s and 60s.
Professor Rowe, I see you nodding. Why?
Yasukuni Shinto Shrine is exceptionally different from other Shinto shrines. I don't think any Asians would mind Prime Minister paying homage in any shrine, but Yasukuni Shrine is a symbol of Japanese militarism. So it was not only just insensitive and also really aggravating already bad situation. It's bad enough that Japan did not come to terms with its past out of World War II, but to do this kind of thing is really just making matters even worse.
Acknowledging guilt is always a difficult thing. We're going to take a short break now, and when we come back, I'd like each of you to tell me why you think it is that Japan, unlike Germany in this instance, is having such difficulty with it. Back with more in a moment.
The painter Degas often lit his subjects with the glow from a window. Renoir used dappled sunshine. Toulouse-Lautrec, the flicker of gas lamps. But when leading museums need to light a Degas, a Renoir, or Lautrec, they choose revolutionary GE halogen ultra bulbs. With their long life guarantee, these bulbs make any room look its best, whether it's home to a Renoir or something equally priceless.
Heartburn caused by acid reflux.
Some prescription medicines promise you freedom from the pain.
But what kind of freedom is getting locked into taking a pill every day?
Ask your doctor. He may recommend you take Gaviscon whenever you need it. Gaviscon tablets are different. They become smooth and creamy on the way down, forming a soothing protective barrier that helps keep acid down.
Why get locked in to taking a pill every day when Gaviscon gives me relief?
Gaviscon, relief from acid reflux without a prescription.
What is possible? Does achievement discriminate? Or does it open its doors to everyone?
It's a dust bowl. Tumbleweeds and the ranch. It's right. It's just a bunch of dirt.
Politically incorrect coming up.
Stop. Go. Mountains. Beach. Decisions. This one's easy. Right now, decide between a Chevy Silverado half-ton extended cab with 0% APR or $1,500 cash back. Or get a 2001 Chevy S10 with $2,500 cash back. See dealer for residency and other restrictions. Any way you go, you can't go wrong. For 0% on Silverado or $2,500 on S10, see your local Chevy dealer today.
The excitement is building for Vancouver's signature event, the 4th Annual Wine and Jazz Festival, August 24th through the 26th at Esther Short Park. It's a celebration of music, wine, art, and food. Be entertained by Grammy-winning Chuck Mangione, Diane Shore, and many more. Sample over 100 wines from 28 wineries. Enjoy splendid art and great food. It's the best family party of the summer. See what Vancouver has to offer at the Vancouver Wine and Jazz Festival. Call Safeway Fast Tickets today.
Richard Gordon, Bonnie O, Iris Chang, and Toshiaki Miura. Mr. Miura, why do you think your government is having so much more trouble than the Germans, for example, in acknowledging that injustices were done, that atrocities were committed, and that apologies, sincere apologies, need to be made?
Well, I'd like to add another historical explanation. The whole establishment, including the army, navy, the emperor, and the bureaucracy, and all as a whole, moved slowly on the path toward militarism and the past. So it's very difficult to pick up a single individual or single group who are responsible for the war. And also another reason why Japan finds it so difficult to come to terms with its own history is that now in Japan, we are now in the process of national identity crisis, looking for some kind of national, nationalism or, patriotism, which can go along with democracy. But still, we are in a burgeoning process. So it's very difficult to draw a clear line between traditional elements and the new brand of nationalism.
I take your point, but Professor O, I'm not sure that what I have heard in there is really a direct answer to why an apology is not possible. All of these, the search for national identity is one thing, but dealing with the past is something else again. What is your theory?
Ted, I have a question.
Yeah.
Well, go ahead, Major.
Yeah, I'd like to ask Mr. Miura.
Yes.
Are the Japanese people today aware of the crimes that were committed by the Japanese army in the Philippines, China, and all throughout Asia?
Well, it depends on the individual, but I think my generation are quite aware of the fact that the point is not the problem of the Japanese public, but it's a problem of Japanese political leaders. It's a kind of, a geyser of Yellowstone that sometimes erupts, even though some Japanese leaders made a clear apology, but other conservative leaders come up and say, we did nothing wrong. We just fought for the just cause of helping decolonization of the Asian peoples. So these all together,
if we buy into the fact that the Japanese did nothing wrong, what we are saying then is a lie. And what we are saying is the truth. We saw the atrocities. We saw them commit the acts that we talked about. But the Japanese that deny them now is making a liar out of us.
Well, let me go back if I may to Professor O. And again, Why is it, do you believe, that this is such a difficult issue for the Japanese?
Yeah, I think I really feel for Japanese people, and I think that Japanese culture, for that matter, Asian culture, which has Confucianism, Buddhism, and Taoism, all eclectic philosophy, pseudo-religion, is more a culture of escapism, you might say, not one of atonement and asking for forgiveness as in Christian culture of the West.
Ms. Chang, your background is also Asian. Do you buy that this is somehow an Asian cultural thing rooted in Asian religions?
Personally, I believe the answer is more political than cultural. In the American South, for example, we had the same problem. It took a century after the end of the Civil War before Southerners were able to fully come to grips, I think, with the legacy of slavery. The region was mired in this Jim Crow set of rules and etiquette which haunted the people in that region. So if it could happen in this country, it could happen in Japan. And of course, at the time, Southerners were considered very friendly people unless the subject came up. So I don't think it's just cultural. I think it's political. Japan has not dealt with this because they haven't had to. And I think the same thing would have happened in Germany if the German government was permitted to deny the Holocaust.
We are, I'm afraid, out of time, but I thank all of you very much. Ms. Chan, Major Gordon, Mr. Muri, Professor O, thank you very much. I'll be back in a moment.
To receive a daily email announcement about each evening's Nightline and a preview of special broadcasts, log on to the Nightline page at abcnews.com.
I like that one. I like that one too, though. But then this one might be better. What do you think? What are the tires for? Tire swing?
Now at Sears Auto Center, we're having an amazing sale on all Michelin tires. Sears, America's #1 tire retailer.
While paramedic Dave McLeod checked the equipment before the day's first call, someone else was on Realtor.com helping Dave's family search for their first home. Later, as he was racing to his 6th call, someone else was at the bank reviewing Dave's mortgage. And while Dave was helping deliver a healthy set of twins who couldn't wait for the hospital, someone else was delivering his cashier's check to the title company. You've got a life. We let you live it. We're Realtors. Real estate is our life.
Just because you're strong doesn't mean you can't be gentle. That's also true of Imodium AD. Gentler than you thought, effective as you think.
Sure doesn't taste this good in New York.
You up here on vacation?
No. Lunch.
Introducing the 260 horsepower Acura TL Type S.
Toyota Clearance Time. Clearance happens just once a year, and you'll like the values on the summer's biggest inventory. And right now, you can get $1,000 customer cash on the comfortable and stylish Camry. Or get the lowest possible 0% APR financing on Camry, the #1 selling car in America 4 years in a row. Don't miss this. Toyota's 2001 Clearance, going on coast to coast.
And that's our report for tonight. I'm Ted Koppel in Washington. For all of us here at ABC News, good night.
This has been a presentation of ABC News. More Americans get their news from ABC News than from any other source.
one extreme to another. Too little rain here means raging wildfires, but here there's too much rain, and a lake is swallowing everything in its path. On World News Tonight.
X Games, Saturday at 4 Eastern on ABC.
I left my conscience like a crying child. Broken like a window, I see my blindness now. And I need love.
Ralph, the colorful fragrance for her by Ralph Lauren. Fragrance, lotion, and shower gel in a great tote for $49.50, over a $70 value. Check it out at Meyer & Frank.
Great looking tires and wheels you got there. Bet you got them at Les Schwab, huh? Must have tried their new virtual wheel computer. You can try it too. Shows how your vehicle would look using all sorts of custom wheel combinations. You can even lower your car or lift your pickup. And right now, in addition to hot August sale prices on custom wheels, you get sale prices on performance, passenger, pickup, and SUV tires. Hot August deals on tires and wheels. Les Schwab, the tire store that lets you see before you buy.
The excitement is building for Vancouver's signature event, the 4th Annual Wine and Jazz Festival, August 24th through the 26th at Esther Short Park. It's a celebration of music, wine, art, and food. Be entertained by Grammy-winning Chuck Mangione, Diane Shore, and many more. Sample over 100 wines from 28 wineries. Enjoy splendid art and great food. It's the best family party of the summer. See what Vancouver has to offer at the Vancouver Wine and Jazz Festival. Call Safeway Fast Tickets today.
This is K2, the breaking news station.
Ladies and gentlemen, the star of Politically Incorrect, Bill Maher.
Thank you very much. All right, let us meet our panel. She is a lobbyist for the telecommunications industry and political analyst for Fox News Channel, Angela McGlowan. Hello, gorgeous. How are you? Good to see you. A distinguished actress who's earned herself an Emmy nomination for her performance on Ally McBeal. Everybody's got an Emmy but me. Jamie Gerst, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, you. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
He is the irrepressible head of the house on the Emmy-nominated Malcolm in the Middle Sundays at 8:30 on another network. Bryan Cranston is over here. How you doing, man? Good to see you. An Emmy for you? Emmy. Sure. Yeah, everybody gets an Emmy. I'm going to lose my 7th one this couple of weeks. I'll lose it. He's an accomplished actor and musician who's taken the music world by storm. Boy, has he, with his new album 8701 in stores everywhere. Usher has come by. Hey, congratulations. You deserve it.
Thank you.
All right. That is a comfortable seat. Oh, excuse me. Oh, boy.
That was chill.
Got it. For a second, I felt like Nancy Reagan on Mr. T.